What's funny is, Shelley Long decided she was going to leave the show on the 5th season. So once that was done, I thought to myself, wow, that's really weird.
Brace yourself for the truth behind one of TV's biggest hits. Cheers looked like pure fun on screen, yet the studio floor often felt like a battlefield. For 11 seasons, the show ruled Thursday nights with lightning-fast jokes and larger-than-life personalities. Viewers never saw the boiling feuds hidden under that glossy finish. Years later, Kelsey Grammer finally cracked the silence. His shocking confession reignited the most whispered secret in sitcom history. Someone everyone loved turned that friendly bar into a place of fear, and the name will stun you.
Well, you know what, honestly, I realized it when we were doing Cheers that there was something great there. This has the potential to be one of the greatest shows ever now because midstream.
Back in September 1982, NBC gambled on a brand new comedy that felt refreshingly different. The pilot dropped fans into a snug Boston tavern where, as the theme song promised, everybody knows your name. The bar itself was simple wood and worn leather, yet it glowed with warmth every week. What made the place unforgettable were the people who walked through those swinging doors. Running the counter was Sam Malone, a smooth former baseball star brought to life by Ted Danson. Sam oozed charm, chased romance, and ducked grown-up duties whenever possible. Across the bar, Diane Chambers, played by Shelley Long, flaunted her sharp mind and lofty ideals. Her chilly wit clashed with Sam's easy grin, and their push-pull love story became the show's heartbeat. Tiny but fierce Carla Tortelli stormed around the tables tossing insults as fast as drinks. Rhea Perlman's wisecracks gave the series its bite. Beside Sam stood Coach Ernie Pantuzzo, the gentle soul with a heart the size of Fenway. Actor Nicholas Colasanto captured Coach's lovable confusion perfectly. The regular seats went to two fan favorites. George, whence Norm Peterson wandered in jobless, yet forever thirsty, while John Ratzenberger's Cliff Clavin showered everyone with odd trivia that nobody asked for. Even with that killer lineup, the first season bombed in the Nielsen charts, landing a lowly 77 spot. NBC shocked industry watchers by keeping the show alive anyway, trusting that sharp writing would win in the long run. Word of mouth spread like wildfire. Critics raved, time slots shifted, and suddenly millions of viewers lined up at the bar each week. By the mid-'80s, Cheers had turned into a monster success. Ratings climbed with every joke, and the series soon filled its trophy shelf with 28 Emmy wins out of 117 nominations. Then came the twist that changed everything. During season 3, the writers inserted a new face meant to stir Diane in Sam's never-ending breakup saga. Entered Dr. Fraser Crane, a Harvard psychiatrist with opera tickets in his pocket and a vocabulary that never quit. Producers expected him to vanish after a handful of episodes. Kelsey Grammer walked onto set, and something electric happened. His dry delivery, puffed-up ego, and secret tenderness hooked viewers instantly. At first, audiences groaned at Fraser's pompous lectures, yet they could not look away. He was annoying, hilarious, and completely different from anyone else in the bar. Writers saw gold in the friction between Fraser's high culture and Carla's street smarts or Sam's carefree charm. Scenes crackled every time he opened his mouth. Before long, Fraser moved from background player to full-time resident of Cheers. Scripts dug into his hidden worries, his desperate need for approval, and those sweet moments when his guard slipped. Thanks to Grammer's layered acting, the psychiatrist felt painfully real beneath all that polish. He only wanted connection and a home, even if the bar never let him forget he was an outsider. Yet success for one character can spell trouble for others. Rumor says several cast members feared their screen time shrinking as Fraser's rose, sparking quiet resentment behind the laughter. Grammer had taken a role meant for a cup of coffee and turned it into TV legend. Today it is impossible to picture Cheers without his neurotic charm. While the on-air fun looked effortless, backstage tension simmered louder than the studio audience. Fame inflated egos, schedules tightened, and creative clashes grew harder to hide. As ratings soared, the spotlight burned hotter. The pressure to stay number one magnified every disagreement until the air crackled with unseen storms. Audiences felt only warm from their living rooms. Yet just beyond a camera line, a very different climate rumbled. Network executives held emergency meetings, terrified that their expensive bet would flop. Critics begged viewers to give the show time, praising its layered humor and gentle heart. Little by little, casual channel surfers discovered the magic of grabbing a virtual stool beside Norm. Ratings nudged upward, then leapt, proving NBC's faith was no mistake. Award voters soon joined the party. 4 times, Cheers walked away with a prize for Outstanding Comedy Series, crushing the competition and cementing its status as must-see television. Behind those trophies, however, was a schedule that ruled the lives of everyone involved. Table reads stretched late into the night. Rewrite sessions sparked fierce debates as writers chased a perfect joke. Some actors loved the challenge. Others bristled at every note from producers. Tiny slights grew into long grudges, and friendly smiles often had clenched teeth. Guest stars felt a chill as soon as they stepped on stage. One visitor later said the atmosphere could flip from laughter to ice in moments. Crew members whispered that the bar set seemed haunted by more than Cheers. They watched endless retakes triggered by petty arguments over who stole whose punchline or who blocked whose light. Paychecks ballooned with each renewed season, yet money could not buy calm. Fame magnified insecurities, and the smallest critique could set off a chain reaction of hurt feelings. When tabloids sniffed trouble, publicists rushed to shield the brand. They painted every disagreement as creative passion, never outright hostility. The illusion held thanks to the cast's professionalism once cameras rolled. No matter the private storms, they delivered perfect timing and genuine warmth take after take. Still, the cracks widened year by year. Friends became rivals, allies shifted, and trust eroded with every rewritten scene that favored one character over another. Through it all, the audience remained blissfully unaware. They simply tuned in, laughed, and felt welcome in that bar where the beer never ran dry. Yet the real question lingered. Which beloved star weaponizes hidden tension and turned the set into a nerve-wracking maze? Kelsey Grammer's recent revelation hints at a shocking name that nobody ever suspected. He promises an untold chapter lies beneath decades of cheerful reruns. As newer generations stream the show on demand, the backstage saga feels just as gripping as any scripted plot. The time has come to pull back the curtain and see the price of making classic television. Stay tuned, because the next twist in this tale will rewrite everything we thought we knew about Cheers, its heroes and its villains. Fame slammed into the Cheers gang like a freight train, and every bright light hit a darker shadow. Long shoots dragged into the night. Press cameras flashed without mercy, and sudden stardom weighed on every smile. Behind perfect punchlines, many hearts were cracking. Yet no star carried a heavier load than Kelsey Grammer. When Grammer joined in 1984, he already lived with pain most people never imagined. Just 9 years earlier, his little sister Karen was taken from him at only 18, a loss that carved a scar he never escaped. He was 20, broke, and just starting to dream of theater work. Yet grief followed him onto every stage. During the Cheers boom, he kept that heartbreak hidden, but friends felt the ache in every quiet moment. While Fraser Crane soared on screen, Grammer's real life sank into nights of hard drinking and risky choices. The richer he became, the deeper he fell. Alcohol dulled the memories. Then stronger drugs joined the mix, turning after-work laughs into dawn walks of shame. Some mornings he reached the set still in yesterday's clothes, tried to memorize lines through a pounding head. Crew members whispered that the brilliant newcomer looked lost. Directors shuffled call sheets when he vanished, hoping the audience would never spot the trouble brewing behind the bar. The crisis hit full force in 1990, shocking everyone who loved the show. Police pulled Grammer over, found illegal pills, and charged him with driving under the influence. 30 days in jail turned the Emmy darling into front-page scandal overnight. Reporters smelled blood, yet the Cheers family closed ranks. Producers met with him in private, promising support but demanding change. Co-stars offered quiet help, sharing tough love instead of excuses. Grammer later said those talks saved his career. But recovery would not be a straight path, and danger still lurked off-set. While he wrestled his demons, another heartbreak struck the team. Nicholas Colasanto, the gentle soul behind Coach, fought worsening heart disease while cameras rolled. Every smile took effort, but he refused to quit the role he loved. In early 1985, before a new script could be filmed, Colasanto passed away at 61, leaving the cast shattered. No one wanted to recast such a beloved spirit, So the writers at the bar itself mourned the empty stool, a silence that spoke louder than jokes. To fill the gap, the producers introduced Woody Boyd, a wide-eyed farm kid played by unknown actor Woody Harrelson. His small-town wonder clashed hilariously with Boston sarcasm, and viewers quickly welcomed him. Still, for those who had shared late-night chats with Colasanto, the bar felt colder. A photo of Geronimo that Colasanto had kept for Luck's date on the wall, a quiet tribute that never left a frame. Change kept coming. In 1987, Kirstie Alley strode in as Rebecca Howe, a driven new manager hiding deep insecurity. Her arrival jolted the show with fresh laughs, yet headlines chased her too. Alley spoke openly about her faith in the Church of Scientology, a topic that puzzled many viewers at the time. Though she never pushed beliefs on set, tabloids buzzed, asking if her faith shaped storylines or friendships. Pressure on Alley grew as gossip columns tracked her romances and weight battles. She smiled for cameras, then ducked into dressing rooms to face rumors alone. By the late 80s, every cast member was juggling private storms while pouring heart and humor into America's favorite bar. Ratings soared, awards piled high, yet each victory carried a hidden cost. Fans saw endless laughter, sharp banter, and hugs after last call. They did not see Grammer fighting sobriety or Alley dodging cruel headlines or writers crying over an empty chair that once held Coach. Somehow the team kept spinning magic, proving that shared work could overcome solitary pain. But every triumph added new strain, and trust sometimes cracked under the weight of living up to perfection. The truth of Cheers is not just witty jokes and warm lighting. It is a story of people pushing through grief, addiction, illness, and relentless media glare, all while inviting viewers to believe everything was easy. That hidden fight made the on-screen joy even more miraculous. And the next revelation will show just how deep those struggles ran before the final curtain dropped. The laughs on Cheers felt effortless. But behind the bar, a silent feud nearly shattered everything. And at the center of it, two stars who clashed harder off-screen than they ever did in front of the camera. Shelley Long was unforgettable as Diane Chambers, smart, sharp-tongued, and a huge reason the show became a hit early on. But insiders say that off-screen, Shelley wasn't as easygoing as her on-screen charm suggested. In fact, many who worked on Cheers said her behavior made things difficult, and not just once or twice. Writers and cast members admitted that Shelley was highly controlling when it came to her character. She constantly questioned the scripts, rarely accepting lines the way they were written. And it didn't stop there. She often demanded rewrites and reworked scenes, creating tension during filming days that were already packed and stressful. Ted Danson, who played Sam Malone, didn't hide the truth. He openly admitted Shelley could be hard to work with, even though he respected her skills. He once said, "It was hard for us sometimes to be in the room together, but when we started working, it was just fantastic." That one sentence captured their love-hate dynamic perfectly. Ken Levine, one of the show's longtime writers and producers, also weighed in. He described Shelley as deeply committed, but also exhausting. Her passion for Diane's character pushed her to challenge every line, every scene. And while it was all in service of quality, it added serious pressure for everyone else. The ripple effect hit hard. Crew members scrambled to adjust schedules. Co-stars got frustrated. And the whole set became a place where people walked on eggshells, especially when scenes had to be rewritten last minute because of Shelley's changes. And it didn't stop at the writers. Shelley's push for control often spilled into her interactions with other cast members. Anytime Diane shared a scene with someone else, her rewrites could completely change how their characters acted or sounded. It created a domino effect. And for actors trying to stay in rhythm, it was a nightmare. Kelsey Grammer felt the heat more than anyone. He joined Cheers in season 3 as Fraser Crane, a character meant to be temporary. But audiences loved him. His awkward charm, highbrow attitude, and deadpan humor gave the show a new layer. And suddenly, Kelsey went from guest star to key player. Fans thought Shelley and Kelsey had great chemistry on screen. But in real life, things were far more tense. In his memoir, Kelsey claimed Shelley wasn't happy about Fraser's rise. According to him, she felt threatened by how quickly his character gained popularity, and she wanted him gone. Kelsey revealed that Shelley pushed behind the scenes to have Fraser written out of the show. He even suggested that the producers kept him around partly to spite her complaints. In his view, it was their way of pushing back and saying no to her constant demands. But the story didn't end there. Ken Levine eventually stepped in to defend Shelley. He denied that she ever tried to get Kelsey fired. He said Frasier stayed on the show simply because Kelsey's performance was brilliant and audiences loved him. Still, Levine didn't sugarcoat Shelley's behavior. He admitted she could be tough, stubborn, and overly intense about tiny details. But he insisted it was never out of malice, just part of her strict perfectionist process. It was frustrating and exhausting, he said, but Shelley has a good heart. Then came the bombshell. Shelley Long decided to walk away from the show. After 5 smash hit seasons, she left Cheers at the height of its success. Ratings were strong. Critics praised the writing, and her character was still central to the show's story. So why leave? Shelley said she wanted to break into movies. She dreamed of taking on film roles that stretched her abilities beyond what a sitcom could offer. It made sense for her career, but it shocked fans and blindsided the team. Losing Diane Chambers was a huge blow. Her on-again, off-again relationship with Sam Malone was the heart of the show. With her gone, the writers had to find a way to rebuild the bar's entire emotional foundation. Suddenly, Cheers needed a new direction, a new energy, and new characters who could keep the spark alive. The cameras kept rolling, but behind the scenes, everyone was holding their breath, wondering if the show could survive the loss of its leading lady, and if the off-screen battles were finally behind them or just beginning. When Shelley Long walked away from Cheers, the producers didn't miss a beat. They brought in Kirstie Alley as Rebecca Howe, and everything changed. Rebecca wasn't anything like Diane Chambers. She wasn't poetic or brainy. She was ambitious, anxious, and wildly insecure. Her arrival gave the show a fresh spark, creating brand new storylines and hilarious struggles as she tried to manage the bar and herself. Despite whispers of backstage drama, official word was that Shelley Long's exit was peaceful. Though the show had its share of tension, most insiders said she left on good terms. She stayed proud of her work on Cheers, and even kept in touch with some castmates after her departure. Years later, that goodwill showed when Shelley made surprise guest appearances on Frasier, the hit spin-off starring Kelsey Grammer. Fans were thrilled to see her again, and it proved that her goodbye from Cheers wasn't forever. Her return meant more than just fan service. It showed her respect for the characters she helped create, and for the world the cast built together. No matter what happened behind the scenes, it was clear that Cheers' legacy still mattered to her. But while Shelley's chapter ended, Kelsey Grammer's story was just heating up, and what happened next behind the scenes was full of complicated relationships, loyalty, and moments more dramatic than anything ever written in the script. Kelsey Grammer wasn't just Frasier Crane. Off-screen, his time on Cheers was shaped by real-life connections with the people he worked with every day. And none stood out more than his bond with Kirstie Alley. When Kirstie joined the show after Shelley's departure, she and Grammer quickly clicked. They didn't just share scenes. They shared a deep friendship that brought them closer during both the highs and lows of life in the spotlight. Kelsey often praised Kirstie's bold spirit and energy. He said she brought honesty and life to every moment, which made their working relationship feel like more than just acting. It felt like family. That friendship became a lifeline when Kelsey hit rough patches in his personal life. Legal troubles and personal demons tested him again and again, but Kirstie never turned away. She stayed by his side, quietly offering support when he needed it most. Her kindness never left his memory. When Kirstie passed away in 2022, Kelsey honored her with raw emotion. I loved Kirstie. She was always beautiful. She just had that thing about her. She was a radiant human being, and that came through her. While Kirstie was his closest bond on set, Kelsey also kept things professional with the rest of the cast. The Cheers team was a tight group, filled with big personalities and different styles. But Kelsey knew how to adapt and work with everyone. He shared plenty of scenes with Ted Danson, the show's leading man. And while their characters sometimes butted heads, Kelsey respected Ted's command of the stage. He learned a lot from Ted's confidence and calm presence on set. As for George Wendt and John Ratzenberger, Norm and Cliff, they were the heartbeat of the bar. Kelsey wasn't as close with them off camera, but he admired their humor and consistency. Their comedic timing helped shape the soul of the show. Rhea Perlman, the fiery Carla, was known for her wit and tough edge. Kelsey appreciated her dedication. And though their characters rarely shared deep storylines, they treated each other with professional respect. In truth, Kelsey's Cheers relationships were a blend. Some tight and warm, others cordial but distant. He valued professionalism and worked hard to keep the environment smooth, even when emotions ran high. But not every bond was mended. His rocky relationship with Shelley Long remained a quiet reminder that not all wounds heal. Even decades later, some things were left unsaid. Cheers wasn't just a sitcom. It was a whirlwind of pressure, egos, fame, grief, and unexpected friendships. Beneath every laugh track were actors juggling real-life pain while delivering television magic week after week. The show's magic didn't just come from the scripts. It came from people trying their best, falling short, lifting each other up, and sometimes letting each other down. And that's what makes Cheers unforgettable. Behind every beer pour and witty joke was a real story, a battle, a bond, or a secret heartbreak. So while the world remembers a bar where everybody knows your name, the real story of Cheers is about what happened when the cameras stopped rolling